This graph tracks CPU clock speeds throughout the 1990s and early 2000s. For years, the industry relied on increasing sequential clock speed to drive performance. Processors scaled rapidly from 500 MHz to 1 GHz, and eventually up to 3 GHz, before the curve flatlines. This secondary line represents heat and power consumption. Pushing processor frequencies past that 3 to 4 GHz threshold caused a severe exponential spike in the thermal load. At those extreme frequencies, the physical silicon begins to generate uncontrollable heat, threatening to damage the internal circuitry. Engineers realized they could no longer force a single processing unit to run faster. They had reached the physical limits of sequential execution. To keep improving performance without destroying the hardware, chip designers abandoned raw speed in favor of parallel architecture. This is a semiconductor wafer, displaying the dense layout of integrated circuits. Instead of building one massive, overheated processor, engineers solved the thermal problem by placing multiple smaller processors onto a single silicon layout. These distinct, independent processing units became formally known as cores. Looking at the underside of a modern CPU shows the rigid hardware boundary of the chip. A multi-core processor is quite literally a network of multiple independent CPUs unified underneath a single physical cap. Each core operates autonomously. They can execute completely disparate tasks simultaneously without bottlenecking each other. This physical duplication of hardware provided the baseline for modern parallel computing. To see how instructions flow, this blueprint breaks a single core down into its essential subcomponents: arithmetic logic unit, registers, control unit, cache access, and execution pipelines. Notice the data blocks moving through the pipeline. The core processes this stream in sequence. The structural limitation here is rigid. A single execution pipeline can only compute one primary stream of instructions at any given moment. But when this blueprint duplicates into a quad-core array, 4 independent streams of data can enter separate pipelines concurrently. This structural layout allows a high-drain application, like generating gaming graphics, to isolate and consume 3 active cores entirely, leaving the 4th core free to handle background operating system maintenance. Multiplying the physical hardware provides the capacity for concurrent execution, but the software must be written to split into separate paths to use it. When you launch an application, the operating system creates a process. A process is the active instance of that running application. This diagram shows how a process organizes work. The solid block on the left is the Chrome browser process. On the right, it fractures into separate subsequences called threads, handling rendering, networking, JavaScript, and the user interface. Modern applications distribute heavy workloads across these threads. This introduces a critical distinction. Cores are physical hardware units etched into the silicon. Threads, by contrast, are logical software execution paths. Because threads are digital structures, a single running process can spawn dozens of them, outnumbering the actual physical cores available on the machine. Multi-core hardware is only effective if the software's thread structure is optimized to divide the logic across the hardware. Even when executing divided threads, a physical core is almost never operating at its absolute maximum capacity. This pipeline view demonstrates why. The data stream halts and turns gray when the processor requires information that isn't immediately available. It enters a wait state to retrieve data. Meanwhile, the arithmetic logic unit and registers sit empty, flashing red to signify wasted time. Because retrieving data from external memory is slow compared to a processor's cycle speed, these microscopic wait states result in millions of lost computational cycles every second. Adding more physical cores does not solve this internal inefficiency. A 64-core processor will simply experience these same wait state stalls across 64 pipelines. Raw execution speed is meaningless if the physical pipeline is constantly starved for data and forced to sit idle. To reclaim these wasted idle cycles, engineers introduced an architectural mechanism called hyperthreading. Watch the mechanical routing. When the primary thread halts and turns gray, a separate thread instantly routes past the jam, occupying the idle arithmetic logic unit and registers. By managing 2 streams simultaneously, this physical core projects the appearance of 2 distinct logical processors. The operating system recognizes and interacts with these logical processors as if they were entirely separate physical CPUs. This maps to consumer specifications. When a spec sheet lists 8 cores and 16 threads, it indicates 8 physical units, each capable of managing 2 interleaved software paths. Hyperthreading is an act of interlacing. It reclaims dead time by slipping a second instruction stream into the microscopic gaps of the first. This Gantt chart tracks execution time, comparing an 8-core, 8-thread chip against one with 16 logical threads. Doubling threads doesn't have processing time. Instead, it yields a modest reduction, resulting in a 10 to 40% performance improvement. The physical bottleneck remains. Because the underlying ALU and registers are shared, heavy continuous processing eventually saturates the hardware and throttles both active threads. Furthermore, highly sequential logic calculations cannot be split across threads. If Step 2 strictly relies on the outcome of Step 1, a high core count offers no advantage. Raw hardware specifications are deceptive. High core counts only yield results if the specific software workload can be properly parallelized. This flow diagram tracks computing from the application layer downward. The software process divides workloads into active threads. These flow into the OS scheduler, which routes threads into logical processors, executing them inside physical core pipelines. This full-stack concurrency is a requirement for cloud servers and AI inference models, which must organize massive datasets and coordinate requests concurrently. Computational power now centers on the logistical efficiency of managing these parallel instruction streams. While hyperthreading fills the gaps caused by memory wait states, the ultimate engineering goal is to eliminate the wait entirely. In our next lesson, we will examine the high-speed data architecture designed to do exactly that: cache memory.